from the time that you were appointed as special counsel up to the date of your resignation in January of 2025, did you personally have any contact with any members, staff, or contractors of the House's January 6th Select Committee, and if so, who?
I do not believe I had contact with anybody personally from the January Select
The
Committee.
January 6th Committee failed to archive or preserve its video recordings of witness interviews, deleting or destroying as many as 900 interview summaries or transcripts involving more than 1 full terabyte of digital data. I repeat, the J6th Committee destroyed evidence. Let that sink in. Why would they do such a thing?
Hey everybody, welcome back. What you just watched is exactly why this clip is exploding everywhere. Representative Harriet Hageman didn't come to play games. She came armed with cold, hard facts, razor-sharp legal logic, and a line of questioning that left Jack Smith visibly scrambling for answers. This wasn't grandstanding. This wasn't noise. This was a calm, methodical, no-mercy takedown of the entire credibility pipeline between the January 6th Committee and the Special Counsel's office. What hit me immediately was how ice-cool Harriet Hageman stayed while dropping bombshell after bombshell. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't perform for the cameras. She just asked direct, devastating questions that demanded real clarity and real accountability, and the answers simply weren't there. That's what makes this moment so uncomfortable and so damn important. Before we tear this apart, smash that like button, subscribe to Congress Lens, and turn on notifications so you never miss these moments Congress desperately wants you to scroll past. Now let's get into what actually happened.
From Wyoming's recognized for 5 minutes.
Mr. Smith, it was during your deposition with our committee that you revealed that you tasked your team, specifically J.P. Cooney, to engage with the partisan January 6th committee. You had to have known at the time the controversy surrounding this committee, including the fact that all of the members had been appointed by Nancy Pelosi, who disallowed the Republicans from being able to engage. Yet you proceeded anyway, raising numerous questions as to your strategy for conspiring with the J6 committee. You had every possible resource available to you. Your prosecution of President Trump was clearly a priority for the Biden administration, and it is clear that you had an unlimited budget. And you also left no stone unturned, even subpoenaing records from sitting members of the House and Senate. So what information could the J6 committee possess that you and the nation's top law enforcement agency could not obtain on your own?
I did request J.P. Cooney.
What did they have that you couldn't obtain on your own?
In any investigation, you
What information did they have that you were not able to obtain on your own?
I couldn't know that until I had their information.
Was there anything there? Did you find that they had information that you were not able to obtain?
I don't recall specifically every bit of information. What I can tell you is we took in their information because we wanted to collect any information that could be relevant. We made our own independent assessment of the evidence.
Okay, so from the time that you were appointed as special counsel up to the date of your resignation in January of 2025, did you personally have any contact with any members, staff, or contractors of the House's January 6th Select Committee, and if so, who?
I do not believe I had contact with anybody personally from the January Select
The
Committee.
January 6th Committee failed to archive or preserve its video recordings of witness interviews, deleting or destroying as many as 900 interview summaries or transcripts involving more than 1 full terabyte of digital data. I repeat, the J6th Committee destroyed evidence. Let that sink in. Why would they do such a thing? I think we have a dang good idea. The committee actually used selective clips from these videos and transcripts during their hearings, and yet by destroying this evidence, they have denied Congress and the public the ability to obtain their full content and context. They created their narrative by selective use of the evidence before them, so how very convenient. Did you or your team receive any of those witness transcripts or video recordings of transcribed interviews from the Select Committee that were not released to the public?
What I can tell you is that I requested J.P. Cooney to contact the Select Committee.
Do you know if you received any of the evidence or testimony that the J6 committee eventually destroyed?
I don't have any information that the J6 committee
You don't know
destroyed
one
any
way or the
evidence.
other as you sit here today.
No, what I'm telling you is that I requested all the information we could get from the January 6th.
Has all of the information that you requested been preserved? All of the information from the J6 committee, has that been preserved?
The information that we requested and received, we reviewed it. It was
Has
part
it
of
been
our file.
preserved?
Yes, as part
Thank
of
you.
our files. And
Were you or your team advised, or did you get the impression from anyone affiliated with the January 6th committee that these documents were not for public release, even though portions of them had already been shown to the American people? Were you advised to keep any of the information from the J6 committee confidential?
as I sit here right now, I don't recall that.
Okay.
I recall.
Did the J6 committee provide you with the Cassidy Hutchinson testimony as part of the trove of documents that you received?
As I sit here now, I don't recall, but it would
Well,
be very
you're
likely-
familiar with her testimony, aren't you?
I am, and
And in fact, wouldn't you agree with me that Ms. Hutchinson's testimony, especially the most explosive allegations made, was comprised of hearsay upon hearsay upon hearsay?
there
Come
was-
on, you're an attorney. Mr. Smith, you can answer the question. Of course it was hearsay.
There was,
And hearsay isn't admissible in a court of law, is it? Why? Because it is inherently unreliable, and the victim or the target of a prosecution is not able to cross-examine. Isn't that correct? In fact, Mr. Smith, if you had attempted to walk into court with Cassidy Hutchinson's testimony, you would have been thrown out on your ear. No judge, no legitimate judge would have ever allowed the testimony of Cassidy Hutchins to be admitted in a court of law, would they?
I disagree.
Well, and then we've already talked about your record.
Mr. Chairman,
today,
Mr.
so I
Chairman,
can
the gentlelady's
understand
time
why
has long
I
since
yield
expired.
back.
The time of the gentlelady.
After watching the full exchange, it's crystal clear. Representative Harriet Hageman exposed a massive credibility crisis in how the January 6th investigation fed straight into the Trump prosecutions. She starts by hitting the issue most people tiptoe around. Jack Smith knowingly sent his team to coordinate with a committee that was openly partisan from day one, structured to completely exclude Republican participation. That alone raises huge red flags. If an investigation is supposed to be independent, why lean so heavily on a political committee whose legitimacy was challenged from the jump? Then she asks the question Jack Smith never really answers. What information did the January 6th committee have that the Department of Justice couldn't get on its own? Smith had unlimited funding, full federal authority, and the power to subpoena sitting members of Congress. With all that muscle, why rely on a partisan committee at all? His response boils down to we wanted to gather everything. That's not an explanation. That's a dodge. The most alarming part comes when Harriet Hageman raises the destruction of evidence. The January 6th committee failed to preserve hundreds of witness interview videos and transcripts, potentially deleting more than a terabyte of raw data. That's not a minor technical glitch. That's a massive, deliberate breach of transparency. Hageman makes the implication impossible to ignore. The committee showed carefully selected clips to the public while destroying the full context. That means the story millions saw may have been curated, edited, and shielded from real scrutiny. Anyone who cares about due process should be furious about that. When she presses Jack Smith on whether his office ever received any of this now destroyed material, his answers are filled with I don't know, and I don't recall. Think about that for a second. The special counsel prosecuting a former president can't say with confidence whether his office even possesses evidence that Congress later destroyed. That's not reassuring. That's terrifying. Then comes the Cassidy Hutchinson moment. And this is where Harriet Hageman absolutely drives the knife in. She strips away the media hype and focuses on the law. Cassidy Hutchinson's most explosive claims were built on hearsay, stacked on top of hearsay. Hageman, speaking as a practicing attorney, explains exactly why that matters. In a courtroom, hearsay can't be cross-examined. It can't be tested. It's unreliable by design. She says out loud what millions have been thinking. No legitimate judge would let that testimony stand on its own in a criminal trial. Jack Smith may disagree, but disagreement doesn't change legal standards. It only highlights the massive gap between political storytelling and actual courtroom rules. Exchange so powerful isn't just the questions Harriet Hageman asked, it's what the answers revealed. Memory gaps, unclear accountability, and a disturbing lack of certainty from the nation's top prosecutor. This wasn't about defending Donald Trump. It was about defending process, evidence preservation, and the integrity of the justice system itself. And the fact that Harriet Hageman was cut off for time just as she was driving these points home says more than anything else. This is exactly why Congress Lens exists. Because if you scroll past moments like this, or swallow headlines at face value, you miss what really matters. If you found this breakdown helpful, smash that like button, subscribe, and drop in the comments what part of Harriet Hageman's questioning hit you hardest. We're going to keep watching these moments so you don't have to take anyone's word for it. Thanks for watching. Stay sharp, stay informed. See you in the next one.